Merry Christmas, darlings. Wait, Merry Christmas, darlings. Isn't that a song? Yes, by the Carpenters. We actually sang that song in high school. I love the Carpenters. But anyways, Merry Christmas. We're going to the movies. We're watching The Color Purple. I'm gonna be real, I'm not terribly interested, but I've seen everything else, so I may as well add it to the list. So I have no expectations. Let's get into it. All right, let's talk about it. So that was The Color Purple, directed by Blitz Bazawule, stars Fantasia Barrino, Taraji P. Henson, Coleman Domingo, Danielle Brooks, and a whole host of other people. There are so many people here. Okay, how do I break this down? So it's a fun movie, it's entertaining, it's a crowd pleaser of a movie. You're going to enjoy it, you're going to have fun. The musical numbers are awesome. However, thank God for the musical numbers, because if it weren't for the musical numbers, I don't think this movie would be any good. So Blitz Bazawule, I fear I am saying his name horribly incorrect, but he is one of the directors for the Beyonce Black is King visual companion movie that was on Disney Plus. One of the directors. There are multiple directors for that entire project. I would love to know what his piece was. I never watched it. I'm not a big Beyonce fan. I mean, she's cool and all, but like, not my cup of tea. Like, I'm just not. I would love to know which piece he actually directed, just so I could see why they thought he would be a good director for this. I imagine there must be some sort of musical numbers in that movie that were done very well, and they thought, oh, he'd be great for this, because the musical numbers, they're wonderful. They're weirdly shot, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but they're wonderfully done, but it's like that's all he really knew how to do. As amazing as the musical numbers are, they don't stand on their own. He uses them as transition pieces. It's the very beginning of the movie, I'd say the first half. It's like he doesn't quite know what to do with the narrative, so he sticks these musical numbers kind of in between to fill the empty space, because there really isn't much of a narrative in the beginning, where it's episodic. It just kind of jumps from point to point to point to point to point. There's no story. And then we get kind of to the halfway mark where we start to see less musical numbers, and it's like he has no choice but to string some kind of narrative together. Ooh. But I think because the musical numbers are so good and the cast, the ensemble themselves are magnetic, it kind of hides the fact that the narrative is just weak. Now, this movie is an adaptation of the stage musical, which is an adaptation of the movie, which is an adaptation of the book. It's all kind of circular. So this is not a direct remake of the 1985 Steven Spielberg film. However, I've never seen the musical. I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen the musical, but we know the story, so to speak, because you've either read the novel or you've seen that movie. So there are a lot of parallels here. It's kind of hard to not compare, apples to apples. It's very difficult to not compare. It makes sense to me now why they're promoting this movie the way they are. They're really pushing the acting, because the technical side of this is nothing to sing about. Sorry. Now, I've seen a lot of movies this year, and I would say I've seen most of the big awards contenders. I don't quite know where this fits, if it fits at all. Now, with respect to award contention for this movie, I am a little confused, because everyone is pushing Danielle Brooks, who plays Sophia in the movie. I don't understand why they're pushing her and not Taraji P. Henson. Emily Blunt from Oppenheimer and Divine Joy Randolph are leading the Best Supporting Actress category. Outside of those two, it's a very weak field. So I would not be shocked or upset or angry, nor would I contest a Best Supporting nod from this movie, because there really isn't a whole lot of pickings. I'm gonna be real with you. But I don't understand why they're pushing Danielle Brooks and not Taraji P. Henson. Out of the two of them, I felt like Taraji P. Henson gave the best performance. Danielle Brooks is great, don't get me wrong, but like, why not Taraji? Like, why are you, like, what are they thinking? How? Like, she would be my pick from this movie, hands down. I don't see this getting a Best Picture nod at all. The acting is great, the musical numbers are great, and they're a great mask to hide the weaknesses, but it's still not a total package film. It's been an insane year. Like, the standards are incredibly high, and I don't think this quite meets that. So, in terms of those big major awards, Best Supporting Actress, I think, is their best bet. They're gonna get nominated in that category. I don't see why not. In terms of your craft awards, I think this movie is out for Best Sound. There's still potential for Best Original Song. My issue with the Best Original Songs, they're great, don't get me wrong. But it's the same issue I had with The Little Mermaid, in that you can tell these songs don't quite fit. They're great though. A costume design nomination would not surprise me. I'd say like a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. Yeah, that's about right. Totally worth a ticket though. Definitely worth it.